Hi, and welcome back to your Autism Game Plan. I'm Joya Vanderlaan, a nurse practitioner, a functional medicine specialist, and an autism mom. This is the second video I'm doing for you on bedwetting. The first video, if you missed it, was on some root causes that could possibly be causing bedwetting in your child with autism and kind of how to go about looking into those things. This video, I'm going to tell you what to do in the meantime. So while you're looking into those root causes and trying to solve those root causes, how can you manage without just becoming so frustrated at nighttime when you've got to change the whole bed? So here we go. You know, my first tip, and I learned this too late in the game, but it was super helpful, is make the bed in layers. So when you're making a bed, the idea is put the mattress pad down, fitted sheet, flat sheet, another mattress pad, fitted sheet, flat sheet, and do that a few times, 2 or 3 times. That way, in the middle of the night, when the child wets the bed, you just peel off that top layer, the top sheet, the fitted sheet, the mattress pad, and you've got fresh sheets underneath. You're not spending a whole lot of time getting busy, remaking the bed, finding clean sheets, and that way the child is not awake as long, giving them a better chance of being able to fall asleep because they haven't gotten so stimulated, and also giving yourself a better chance of falling back asleep quickly because you don't have to be up and stimulated and working for so long. So that's tip number 1, layer that bed. Now, if you have a particularly heavy wetter or the child is older with obviously a bigger bladder, you may need to take extra protective steps. For instance, what we had done was this was happening at about the same time that we got a new puppy, and so we had those Chucks pads or the puppy pee pads with kind of the plasticky backing. I'll place a link to those below. But what we would do is put those under the sheet, the fitted sheet. That way, they weren't on top of the sheet, because if they're on top of the sheet, they tend to bunch up as the child moves around, and then they're useless because they're no longer under the child and they're uncomfortable and crinkly. But if you put them under the fitted sheet, they are less likely to kind of move around and become crumpled up, and they don't get dirty, right? Because the child's not actually laying on them. So the only time you need to change them is if they actually get wet. So put those Chucks pads or those pee pads for the puppies under the fitted sheet. Now, a more environmentally friendly option that you can either use alone or in combination with those puppy pee pads is a washable bed pad. Now, we have tried many of these, determining which ones are most absorbent and fit best on the bed. So I'm actually going to link to a few of them below as well and in the notes for this video so that you can find them easily, find what worked for us while we've done the trial and error. I figure I might as well tell you, what the best products are out there, what worked for us. So the washable bed pads are great. There's also a washable bed pad that has actually a thin, almost sheet-like extension on either side of it so that you can tuck that under the bed, making it even less likely that it's going to shift and bunch in bed. So that actually ended up being one of our favorites, is the one that you can tuck under. It's secure, it's not going anywhere, so you know if the child wets the bed, it's in the right spot. The next one is Mattress Protectors. Now, you can search on Amazon and you will find hundreds, if not thousands, of waterproof mattress protectors. Let me tell you, most of them are not going to protect your mattress from a full bladder of pee. So what I do is I use those as more of a backup versus the actual protection. So yes, I want that mattress protector on the mattress. However, that's not my only line of defense. So I'm also using those washable bed pads. And what I'll usually do, remember I spoke about double making or triple making the bed, layering that bed. Well, what I'll do is, especially if the child is a heavier wetter, I will layer those washable bed pads in between the layers. So usually either right under or right over the fitted sheet. And that way it just adds another layer of protection to both protect the mattress and to protect that layer of sheet underneath. So truly it does not get wet if your child wets the bed. And then when you peel back that layer, you do truly have a clean, dry sheet under there. Now, what do you do if your child gets a rash or a raw bottom because of sitting in that wetness for many hours? A lot of these kids, they wet the bed, they do not wake up. And so they're sitting in wetness, sitting in that pee, which can cause skin irritation and skin breakdown. So what do you do? Well, an oil-based moisturizer or cream is going to be best. A nurse practitioner friend of mine actually makes a really great salve or ointment that has vitamin D in it. Vitamin D is very, very important for skin health. And so again, I'll link to that below. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. But I have tried those products and like them. I hope you will like them as well. The other thing you can do is straight coconut oil or olive oil. Those work really well, and you probably have those on hand at home anyway. One thing I would not recommend using are any powder-based products. Although it's best to keep the skin warm and dry in order to help it heal and best protect it, what you don't want to do is add a powder that's going to cake up with wetness, right, and cause this mess. You know, one thing I learned was, don't get upset with the child for peeing the bed. You may feel upset. Don't tell them you're upset. A child who is scared to come tell you that they wet the bed is a child who's going to either be awake all night and not so happy the next day, or a child who is going to not want to come tell you and is just going to lay in that pee, which is not good for them. So be loving, be patient, do what you can to encourage the child. Hey, if this happens, please come get me at night. We'll take care of it, no problem. I don't think any case of bedwetting has ever been solved by making the child feel guilty about it. So let's show them a little kindness, understanding. They're not doing this on purpose most of the time, right? So let's have a little understanding and compassion for them in helping them with this problem. Pull-ups are perfectly acceptable to use. They can contain the mess. Oftentimes they're not enough, and so we found we still had to use some of those mattress pads even when we were using pull-ups. The one thing I will say is don't approach pull-ups as a punishment for the child. Approach it and describe it as more of a help, right? This is going to help you stay dry and clean and comfortable until you're ready to hold the pee in throughout the night and just go to the potty in the morning. If your child is having problems with bedwetting and you start asking your friends or your medical providers or on social media groups, you will inevitably hear about bedwetting alarms. How this works is there's a sensor either in the child's underwear that you have to place there every night or underneath them in some sort of pad. So it's a wetness sensor. And when that sensor detects wetness, it alarms. It gives this loud, obnoxious alarm. Now, I'm not saying this is the wrong choice for everyone. In some cases, this can be a good tool for some people. I've heard it working. However, we did not choose to do that, and here's why. I felt like if my child is wetting the bed and they're woken up by this loud, obnoxious alarm, that is unpleasant. So, and I feel like it would get their heart rate going. It would be very hard then to fall back asleep. Now you've got them, that sympathetic overdrive kicked in, and they're, you know, up to here with their energy and with their stress level. That's not conducive to getting them to fall asleep very quickly or you to fall back asleep very quickly. So to me, the bedwetting alarm would be maybe a last resort, if at all. I would try the other methods first and see if you can get to the root cause of why the child is wetting the bed. Thanks again for joining me for this video on bedwetting and what to do in the meantime while you're figuring out root causes. I hope you found this helpful. Remember, you're doing a great job. Be gentle with yourself.